All right, let's go live. Do you believe that small and supersized fries are the same amount of fries? Like, is that really a thing? Have you seen?
What do you mean?
Have you seen this video where it's like people work at McDonald's showing you that's like the same amount of fries in a small as there is in like a supersize?
No,
they're just totally getting ripped off.
No, I've done the thing where you buy like 20 nuggets and a shitload of fries before.
Yeah,
and I don't eat nearly all of them. It's like to share with people, but the fries are significantly larger than a small fry. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of fucking fries in an extra large one.
PSVR without Parole, Dave Station VR.
Oh, but here's the thing:
PSVR Underground and a bunch of Game Cats present PSVR GamesCast live.
Oh wow, we were talking about fries, AJ. Come on.
I mean, that conversation's ruined. Let's start the show. This is PSVR GamesCast Live, where we film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. This is, again, one of those days. I think this is Wednesday, right? It must be Wednesday because the week's not over yet and definitely didn't just start. My name's Brian Powell from this channel right here, PSVR Without Parole, and the guys to my right, the boys, Dave from Dave Station, R.
Oh, nice. I liked it. Short and sweet. Didn't go too wild. I think we can tell your level of caffeination by how strongly you introduce me. That's what I feel.
And that guy on the right-hand side of the screen is PJ from the Underground. I just lost all my caffeination.
First time caller, long time listener. Really happy to be here.
Excellent.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Tell us why you're calling in today, AJ.
I just wanted to say that I'm a big fan of Dave Station, and I'm just really surprised that Brian, you watch YouTube videos about fries and
TikTok. I watch TikTok videos about fries,
but you don't watch PSVR Underground, and it really upsets me.
I watch YouTube, man. YouTube's lame. Who fucking watches YouTube anymore? Like, my parents watch YouTube. YouTube's not cool anymore.
When you start scrolling through TikTok, AJ, you might not know this. Brian, you know this. Mm-hmm. You'll be in that shit for like 2 hours. You're like, oh my God, what the fuck happened to my brain? What did they just do to my brain?
Go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, and you're just like stuck in there. Just like, oh wow.
And that's all before you get out of bed.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a dangerous thing they got there. So that's why he's not watching your streams and stuff, man. He's on the TikTok.
That's right.
Once you TikTok, you can't stop.
He's starting off the show with a TikTok from Your Long Shadows with the 50 Nokia phones, right? They're just piling up in the corner somewhere.
She gets some wholesale. So
Your Long Shadow says, "Sweet potato fries done right are the best fries." Fight me.
That's pretty.
That is
good.
That is the correct answer.
Pretty goddamn good.
I don't know, man. I mean, I love curly fries, like waffle fries, seasoned fries. I mean, there's just so many types of fries that, like, I don't know.
The worst type of fry is a crinkle cut fry. Those can fuck off. Crinkle cut. Nobody actually likes
like middle school cafeteria.
Crinkle cut. Nobody likes crinkle cut.
It's all just an excuse to down some salt and ketchup in my book. Like, I don't care what it's on, man. Just give me a piece of bread, just salt it and fucking drench it in ketchup. Same experience. As long as you fry the bread first. Wow, this is going all the wrong places. Guys, shout out also to Arlen Teodori with the $10 tip. Says, I spend all day on YouTube, and this is my favorite stream. This is not the Arlen that I knew and loved once upon a time. He would never say all of these nice things. This just isn't him.
He's been taken over by a body snatcher.
And for the better. I mean, he was never that good of a person before. So this is a dramatic improvement. So thank you, body snatchers, for improving my friend Arlen.
Turning his life around,
Waffle fries. That was a good call out, Decepticon.
For sure. Fries. And I want to get the show started, I swear, but Donatello with the $5 tip says garlic fries. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
Garlic fries are fucking good, man, for sure. Dude, and what about, you need melted cheese, man. Just like pour a shitload of melted cheese over these fries. Chili fries, yeah, I mean, let's go all out.
Tots are kind of taking over too now.
I love tots. Tots are great.
Tots are great. Guys, don't forget to join our Discord, because that's where literally this conversation happens 24/7. So we can continue over there after the show. I'm sure we can talk about fries all day, every day. But this show is about PlayStation VR. We talk about that all day long. We got so much news to talk about, so many things on the docket today. But first, we want to kick it off with a question from Donatello the Scientist Game Cat, who wrote over on our Discord, #viewer takeover. Do you think in 2 to 3 generations from now, PSVR 1 will be in demand, much like the PlayStation 1 is today? What game or games will new gamers want to play on PSVR 1 in 20 to 30 years from now?
2 or 3 years from now? Absolutely not.
20 to 30 years.
Maybe, 20 to 30 years? Yeah. It could be looked at as like a relic. I don't know if I'd be sold that. I think there's going to be maybe a lot of nostalgia, but maybe a PS4 Pro will be worth a little something. That's why I'm holding on to mine. But no, I don't think so. Maybe some nostalgia, some fondness for some old games, but that's about as far as that's going to go. Everyone's ready for PSVR 2.
No, I understand that. Like when PlayStation 1, PS1, when that generation, that era was ending, everyone was like, I'm not going to miss PlayStation 1. Like, I'm ready for PlayStation 2. And now here we are, and we're like, I am at least super nostalgic for PS1 games. Still think it's one of the best consoles out there. Dave, let me ask you, do you think people will be nostalgic for things like, like on PlayStation 1, we had all these like really rough polygons, low polygon counts, rough textures, all that stuff. Do you think people will be nostalgic for like screen door effect and blurry resolution and shit?
Maybe, probably not.
Move controllers with no analog sticks?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, this is one of those things where I do kind of agree with AJ, where people are just going to keep wanting the newer thing. And there will obviously be somebody who really wants one of these as a collector's piece, or, put up on a shelf somewhere, or a gaming museum could have it in there and something like that. But I don't think in 30 years that I would spend money on a PSVR 1 headset. If I'm even alive at that point, I don't think I'll be spending money on a PSVR headset.
Be alive. The thing about the PS1, Brian, is that was my favorite console up until PSVR, which is not even a console. Like when PS1 was finished, I was still in love with it for 20, 25 years. So I don't know these people you're talking about, but they're certainly not me. I liked the PS1 more than PS2, PS3, PS4 even, until PSVR. That was like the life-changing thing. It was like that like this is the future moment where just like the jump from 2D to 3D games with PS1, VR is now like, my new PS1.
Yeah, I think Matthew Longo in the chat had it right. He said people won't be nostalgic for the tech; they'll be nostalgic for certain games. And I 100% agree. Like, I don't see separation being brought over to PSVR 2. Like, I just don't see that happening. But man, if somehow separation gets stuck on PlayStation VR 1 and never sees life outside of that, like, dude, I'm gonna be like super thrilled to still have a way to play that game 20 years from now. I'm be like, oh, remember that shit? That was so cool. Blah blah blah. And
there's going to be certain physical copies that are collectors items. I think there's going to be a few standout collectors items. Job Simulator has been like $100 for the physical for like a long time already. That's going to be that game is going to be worth a lot. Like maybe like there's going to be some relics like that where there'll be like Job Simulator. Something else, whatever else have a high price, but I really feel like Job Sim is the best example of something that'll be worth a lot.
I love that.
I like what Rhodey says here in chat. He says the improvements in VR will be an immersion, not really in gameplay. I don't know if I agree with that 100%, but I see what angle you're going for here. He says the retro games still have solid gameplay no matter how awful they look, so I doubt VR will see a retro phase. I don't know if I agree 100%, but interesting angle that it's not so much about gameplay as immersion.
I think I missed Hack's first comment, but now he's just listing Sega CD games in the chat. He's like Sewer Shark, Sonic CD, Night Trap, Stellar Fire. I love them. I love a lot of them games, even though they weren't the best. Dude, yeah, I mean, Sega CD has an amazing collection of games that people don't remember because a lot of them are stuck on that console and never got a second life anywhere else. And I'm a little bit concerned that this is potentially what's going to happen to PlayStation VR 1, especially because of the whole light tracking situation, and possibly not having an easy way to bring those over to PSVR 2 without the developer just reworking everything, and with a lot of those developers going under or just going MIA or moving on to other projects and not having the money or the care to go back and like update these games for next gen headsets, I think we could lose a lot of them if we don't find a way to preserve them.
The Triangulator says Dream Borders will be a classic years from now.
Dream Borders is already a classic.
Oh yeah, just like Cool Borders too.
Not a classic. Those games suck. SSX is a classic.
Like
Jetmoto's closer to a classic than Cool Borders. I'll give you that. AJ, what's the first news story on the docket today? Let's get the show
guys.
going.
We've got a lot to cover today, including there's a game that comes out tomorrow. 2 games actually, but one of them we have received our Star Wars pinball review keys. However, we are under embargo until 1:00 tomorrow. But we're going to talk about the one that doesn't have an embargo and review that for you guys. Let us know our thoughts. It should be interesting because I think we're going to have some different opinions. But there's also a giant sale. Duran Fan VR is back at it again, temporarily for now at least. He said he had a moment. And there's more games on sale, brand new listing of stuff. So you're going to want to hear our run through of that. But first, as always, we're going to start with anything PS5 related. And today, guys, was earnings day. Woo!
How much did you make? I didn't make anything.
Yeah, I'm so not excited for other people making money.
Yeah, no.
$350. Guys, the current number of PlayStation 5s reported are 7.8 million sold. That includes 47.6 million PlayStation Plus subscribers, 338 million games sold for PS4 and PS5 in the past year, 24.4 billion in gaming revenue in the past year. Global box office was 11 million too. But guys, so real quick, 7.8 million, almost at the 8 million mark for PS5 sold. What is your opinion, the state of PS5 right now? You think they're doing well? What do you think of the system so far? Are you enjoying it?
I please tell me you're asking the chat because I'm about to shit all over this conversation. The PlayStation 5 can suck it. No, I'm kidding. I just haven't had a use for mine yet. Like, I've had it for 6 months and I still haven't had a use for it. Like, Astro's Playroom was fantastic, but it's like the free packing game. Like, there's been like 2 real exclusives, right? And Returnal's not even out yet. It's been like Demon's Souls Remastered, which I already have on PlayStation 3, unmastered, and then Returnal, which is out when? Today? Tomorrow? Fucking something like that. And like, I haven't had a use for my PlayStation 5 other than like the slight upgrade it has for PlayStation VR games. If people, I'm very, very happy for all the people who skipped the Pro and was like, this is my Pro and my, and I'm also, future proofing my console for the next 6 years or so. I'm very, very happy for all those people who made that dramatic jump. But I think a lot of us who made the jump from the Pro to the PS5 like didn't feel anything. It was just like, okay, well, at least I got it when everyone else is struggling to even get one. Matthew Longo in the chat says this is every new gen, and I don't agree with that at all. Like, I don't think we had an amazing group of launch titles. Like we certainly had better launch titles on PS4, or at least more of them. We had better launch titles on PS3, PS2. I mean,
I think that's rose-tinted glasses, man. I don't think that's true.
I don't think it's true at all. I disagree.
I mean, like the Order 1886. There was like
that wasn't the launch title.
Yeah.
It wasn't?
No.
Resogun
was definitely a launch title, and Resogun was awesome. Killzone Shadowfall.
Awesome, but it's a small game.
Didn't have me buy a PS4.
It's a little fun arcade game. I love it, but it's not, a system seller. Resogun.
I mean,
call me a fanboy, but I absolutely love my PS5.
That's gonna happen.
I love my PS5, man. Now, granted, I'm usually, before having a channel and stuff and having to cover a console, I actually would typically wait 1 year, let some games settle in, let them get some kinks out, make sure I get the second little revision model or whatever that doesn't have like a bunch of issues. But no, man, I have gotten so much use out of this. I mean, with me, I know not every game has graphical enhancements, but a big one, the most important one to me, which is No Man's Sky, did. And that is huge. That is like night and day. And on top of that, I've always been, me as the defender of loading screens and stuff. Like I'm cool with loading screens.
Such a weird title to have.
But no, like there's the faster load times and stuff has been a big deal, much bigger deal to me. I never really realized how much time I spend in loading screens until you have that luxury of faster load times, and then it's been much nicer. So when it comes to, well, go ahead if you were going to say something.
Oh, sure, I'll say something.
Go ahead.
I like the PS5 quite a bit, but I play more flat stuff than you guys do, and like it's given me an excuse to go back when a game gets that new coat of paint for PS5 and play it in like the best possible version of games I didn't finish or it's been a while. Like God of War has been really fun to play on the PS5 because I never finished it originally, and it kind of reinvigorated me to get back into it. And it looks and runs like incredibly well. I've said this before on the show, I think. Ratchet and Clank too. I mean, even older games get a nice new coat of paint. And I don't know. I think we'll continue to see stuff that defines itself a little bit more like Returnal by being PS5 only in terms of like, you know, this relies on those haptic triggers, you know, the adaptive triggers and stuff. Like you can't play it anywhere else because the game's designed around it. And so I think we're getting into that phase now, and hopefully we see more games like Returnal soon to kind of solidify the need for a PS5.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like people who don't have one yet aren't really missing out. Like, I mean, it's going to be a great console, but you know, we still don't have a lot of the features that we once had. We don't have folders. I still don't like the new store. I don't like the library or the whatever the fuck they call it. So the place where you search for your own games. I just don't like the lack of any customization whatsoever. I don't like the fact that some of the decisions Sony has made during this process. I don't like that we can't buy movies. I don't like that the prices have gone up to $70. I mean, and that's just a generational thing. That's like. Doesn't really have a lot to do with PlayStation 5 specifically. It just has to do with the changes that are happening that I'm not a huge fan of. So yeah, you know, it's fine. But again, I don't feel like people are missing out yet. I know people are desperate to get one.
If they had a Pro,
right, and I did.
There's a whole lot they're missing out on. But dude, going from from an OG.
That's the difference. Is that I wasn't going from an OG. I was going from a PlayStation 2 to a PlayStation 3. I was going from a PlayStation 1 to a PlayStation 2. This generation, I was going from a Pro to a PS5. I was going from a PS4.5 to a 5. So I didn't get that full integer leap. I didn't get that full generational leap. And so, and I do feel like the Pro kind of killed some of my excitement for next gen. I don't think, and plus I don't have a 4K TV. So even when I do play things on flat screen, I don't get the full extent of it because I'm a VR guy. And so right now, you know, I think some of the chat has already kind of said this, that maybe PlayStation 5 isn't for me yet. Like when PlayStation VR 2 comes out, it's definitely going to be for me. This is going to be the thing that powers the thing I've been waiting for 5 fucking years. And so I'm very excited for that. But in the meantime, anyone upgrading from an OG, I 100% agree with you, AJ.
Yeah.
Well, so one thing about loading times, too, that you mentioned, Ross Christofari in chat says, okay, for real, my Doom and Wolfenstein games went from a minute between deaths to 3 to 9 seconds between deaths for load times.
That's great.
Shit adds up, man.
So, like, there's some, I mean, even in VR games, you get those benefits, too, in a lot of cases, right? Just because the system's faster. It just can't not be faster than it is.
That's really good to hear.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, because
go ahead.
I was going to say, these are games, you know, games that I don't play, things I wouldn't be familiar with like that. That's an amazing upgrade. So thanks for filling us in on that.
Two of the biggest games I play, which are No Man's Sky and Dreams, have had a huge impact. So it's been very, very beneficial for me personally. The one, you know, there is the stuff about like the UI and stuff is still needs to be worked out, but I feel like they focused on games first and foremost, and they did the best they absolutely could, and that's why I'm kind of mostly pleased. But I will say there are, like, when it comes to my complaints using PSVR on PS5, it sucks to see that, you know, people have like struggling to get an adapter or, you know, obviously there's the shortage, but that's kind of out of their control in terms of like that. But for me, the biggest issues are stuff like Rush of Blood having like little bugs where it pauses randomly, Battlezone being completely broken.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't mind, like, why couldn't like some of these worst games have issues versus some of the better games? That to me is one of the few like real big problems to me is stuff like I can't have the reason I bought a PlayStation VR Rush of Blood have issues, and it's not, granted, it's not a huge issue, but it is a bug that is annoying, and to me that is the biggest problem. I think everything else, like, I'm looking forward to working itself out, but I really feel like they've focused on the important part, which is what's always made PlayStation do well, and that is the games.
I hope so, man. I hope so. This is, Jim Ryan. We talked about Jim Ryan on the last episode, talking about how they've got more exclusives coming for PlayStation 5 than any other console they've ever released. And so, I can't wait to see what they've got in store, because they haven't really announced a whole lot. It's been pretty quiet on the games front, and I can't wait, man. Because again, there was the launch drought for this last generation before, and the one before that. It's a common thing for sure. But man, it's like once that drought is over, is what I'm excited for.
Yeah.
I think like 2 years to get. It takes like a year or two to really get going, and then that's where it starts like ramping up like crazy.
We got a few kick-ass ones coming soonish, though. Ratchet and Clank's around the corner. Resident Evil's probably going to be great on a PS5.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. That game doesn't come out for at least another year.
While some of the games may not be fully like next gen experiences yet, I still feel like the games themselves feel like they are an awesome lineup, launch lineup and stuff. And been getting some free games and stuff like, Oddworld is something I would have never had interest in, but they put it for free. And I tried it, and I was like, "This is actually really, really good," and I love to see it. It's a slight upgrade, and PS3 to PS4 was a slight upgrade, but it was like in so many good parts, like graphically being able to actually fill out some of these open worlds or bigger open areas, render them better and stuff.
You could say sirens on my end,
Oh,
just so I don't have to
siren.
interrupt. The window's open. I can't. It's too hot in here otherwise. I apologize, guys.
Yeah. So, quick tip as far as if you're still trying to get a PS5, if there's any way for you to talk to your bank or figure out some setting where they're not going to flag something as a fraudulent purchase, go in and do that beforehand, because a friend of mine today was in the queue, got it in his cart, went to submit it, and then Chase sent him a thing saying, hey, this looks like a fraudulent purchase.
And then it was too late.
And then it was too late and he didn't get it.
Yeah, it happened to me with my MCR tickets too.
Yeah, I don't know what you can do about that, but there's got to be some way to talk to your bank ahead of time and say, hey, don't flag this, or like raise my limit or something, because that sucks. He was really excited about it. It happens to the best of us.
All right, guys.
It's time to move on.
Because Archiact has done a refresh of their marketing, of their logo, of everything.
Hold on, and we crashed. Keep streaming. Yes. Change the Archiact sentence, and we're live.
And Archiact has refreshed their logo, their channel. They even put up a new little Paramount Pictures looking logo.
Oh, nice.
But they tweeted out, and even their name says Archiact, your VR adventure guides. They say unexplored territory, unrivaled expertise, unforgettable adventures. We're Archiact, your VR adventure guides. Our mission is to blaze the trail of VR/AR and craft the world's most unforgettable immersive experiences. And I guess this is after nearly a decade. They've posted like an update on the channel of their history of a bunch of new stuff. And, I recently had the pleasure of speaking with them. I sat down with executive producer Ken Thane over on the VR Chat show. VR Chat channel. You can go check it out over there on the dev chats. They did, in fact, mention that they have, they're finished with Doom 3.
I don't think they are, though. They should, like, dear Archiact, I don't think you're done with Doom 3. Fix your fucking games. Sincerely, Brian Paul.
Well, I tried to bring up the conversation of updates and stuff, and that was one. It basically sounded like this is Bethesda approached them to do. They weren't like, oh, let's make a game, let's make a Doom game, and like they were like called Bethesda. No, Bethesda was the one reaching out to them and say, hey guys, we want to do this, because they worked on them with Arcane before, making the what was that System Shocky kind of game, that like little DLC, moon something. Prey, thank you, Prey VR. Archiact was actually the ones that helped develop that. But yeah, long history there, really cool stuff. The guy Ken Thane, their producer, actually comes from BioWare, and like EA and stuff. So he's got lots of experience at AAA. Was really cool to talk to him, and was awesome. Thank you, VR Chat channel. But anyways, they did mention that they are gearing up towards the next gen. Of course, he couldn't tell me anything, but this looks like the beginning of a new start for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for them. These guys have been trucking along for a while since since the early days of VR, and they've been doing some cool things. I like that that they're calling this a refresh. That they're sort of like, hey, like all the stuff we've done before has been training for the future, and here we go. What do they call themselves? The Archiact, the Guides to Adventure. What is it?
Yeah, the VR Adventure Guide.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm like, I'm very excited to see what kind of adventures they have for us in store, because this is, I don't know at this point like what to expect from them anymore. Like once upon a time, I sort of had an idea. Like Freediver was pretty fucking cool, but it was really, really short. So I was like, oh, okay, these are the guys that are capable of making really short but awesome VR experiences. And then they got the rights to do the Doom VR port.
Well, they did Evasion before these both, right? Isn't
right.
that Archiact?
Yeah, that was also Archiact. So it's like, so I have no idea what to expect from them anymore. Like they're sort of all over the map.
Yeah. I don't know. I know a lot of developers, aim to be like the best, the premier VR ones. We've heard Fast Travel Games say the same kind of thing, and some do and some don't. Like I've been really impressed with End Dreams and seeing how End Dreams has evolved with what they've had their hands on. They've got Fract coming out this summer, which looks fantastic. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, I really hope the best for Archiact. Doom 3 was probably one of, even though they did some changes to the guns and stuff and like put the HUD like integrated into the gun. Like he actually said that they were inspired kind of like Dead Space, where you see the health and stuff on the spine and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was like one of their, when I first heard Archiact was making Doom 3, I thought they were going to like add all this crazy VR immersion gameplay, interactive gameplay stuff. But I'm guessing because the game was kind of older, they kind of just had to just do what they could and pushed it through. And even the Dr. Beef version on Quest you're seeing is getting some updates to stuff that was even mentioned about the Doom 3 one. So I really hope at some point they get one more chance to edit it, to update it. But we'll have to see. When Archiact, my point is when Archiact is making the game, when it's their own IP and stuff, they've been pretty fun and immersive games. Like Freediver is a great example. It was short, but I absolutely loved the locomotion system and what they went for in that game.
Yeah, and Evasion, I had issues with at launch, but once they patched it up with the aim controller where you didn't have to pull the trigger every single time you wanted to shoot,
and they dropped the price.
That became really tedious.
That was
they
a big
dropped
deal
the price. Too. After that, I was like, this game ain't so bad. It's kind of fun and cool. One thing you mentioned, I was going to make a play on this choice of words earlier, but I guess I'll do it now. You said that they aim to do the best that they can, and it's good to note that they are one of the developers that try to get the aim into any game that they can when they're developing it. Like that was Evasion was very aim forward. Doom 3, obviously, the way they want you to play it is with the aim. So, like for Freediver, that doesn't make sense, of course, but. It seems like a company that we can rely on to keep using the peripherals well, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to keep up with Archiact, make sure you head on over to their website, archiactvr.com, because they've launched a new kind of blog over there called Uncharted Territory. In their first edition of Uncharted Territory is already up on the site, and that just kind of like documents their history. They kind of take you through everything game by game by game. It's not super long, but it is interesting, especially if you're unfamiliar with them as a company. And it seems like they make allusions to like future blog posts where they're going to tackle like different elements of VR. And I think that's really good. Hearing from the developers themselves and hearing their perspective on how to tackle different issues in VR. It's unfortunately too many times we see how developers feel about different things by their games, by the things that they release when it's too late, right? They're like, this is how we feel about locomotion systems, and then they like give us something we didn't want, you know, and I hate finding out how developers think about things based on the games they put out when it's already too late.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes developers will double down on stuff. Like I remember First Contact. Any complaint people had at launch about how the game was designed, how the lobbies were designed, anything like that, the modes, anything like that, they were just like, no, we decided this is what we want. That's what we're going to do. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like they were pretty stonewall on that. Just like, nah, that was our vision. And like sometimes when something that everyone sees as a deficiency, you keep saying, oh no, that was part of our vision. It's like, was it? Or are you just doubling down? Like, you know?
Yeah, we definitely get a lot of that for sure, but it's all good.
Yeah. Your Long Shadow says Uncharted VR confirmed. It's the feeling I get, and especially with the name of their blog post, I was like, did Sony give them the Uncharted license for a VR game?
I thought about that actually when you said it's called Uncharted. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it specifically that jumped out that made you think Uncharted?
The title of their blog is Uncharted
Territory.
Journeys or some territory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a little too opaque for it to actually be real. I mean, if it was actually real, I'd be like, what the fuck? It was out there in front of us the whole time.
Yeah.
But
well, if I was a Sony guy, I'd be like, dude, you're kind of telling them, like, stop telling them.
yeah.
Something is on the horizon, guys.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So, but you know, if they discovered, hey, we're really good, or they think they're really good when they get the license for something to kind of like take this, you know, flat screen thing and bring it into VR. They're like, hey, we had a lot of fun with that. Let's do that again. You know, I could totally see Sony going, hey, Uncharted 1, fucking do your thing with it, man. Have fun. Aim controller, have fun. Go at it.
The good news is also in that interview, he mentioned that he believes Bethesda still has interest in VR, even though they were purchased by Xbox Studios. He said that they still like VR a lot, so might not be the last thing we see from them.
Yeah, and I mean, not that it's a PSVR thing, but there are now finally on PC Game Pass some VR supported games that you can actually run in VR, because that wasn't the case initially. Like when I got Game Pass for PC, there was stuff that had a VR version out there, and I just couldn't play it. And so maybe they're thinking like, we'll get the PC market at first, and then we'll expand to be considering VR in some capacity. Or else they're crazy. Everybody else is like it just makes
layers of fear, guys.
I mean,
we're getting stream problems.
My review's already up. I spent the last 2 days playing it again and again. I don't know what to tell you about.
I'm just saying we don't want to have the whole conversation during the outage. We should hold off a minute and just shoot the shit about something else. How's your day going, AJ?
It's going all right, man. Is the stream dying or what?
They say Dave is repeating himself on a loop.
Brian, is there any way you can go into the settings real quick and change everything back to just like the default stuff? Is he even there or is he frozen? Okay.
I'm here. I'm just working.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, absolutely no problem on our end. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's get back to it, guys. Fuck. All right. Well,
Tiff says we're back. Can you guys hear us? Are we back yet? YouTube.
That's really please.
Sorry, Brian. Jesus Christ. Just trying to get back on track. Can you guys hear us?
All right. It was a good review, man. I enjoyed it, and I thought it was pretty informative. And but you wanted to hear our thoughts, correct?
That's right.
So I didn't beat it. You guys both beat it. I know. I played about hour and a half or so about half the game from what I've heard from you guys. And I didn't get stuck nearly as much as you did on certain parts, AJ, when I saw you in the Discord.
Right.
But I was kind of in the middle of your guys' opinions from what I know last time I talked to you. So I know, Brian, you had a really good time. You really enjoyed it. AJ, you weren't having such a good time with it. You were frustrated. You felt like it was antiquated, stuff like that. That's what I was getting from you. I feel both sides of that. Like, there were times where I was like, okay, that was actually a good jump scare. They got me that time. But it was a little bit of both the whole time. A lot of the scares didn't get me, and I was like, you thought just flashing lightning and slamming a door was all you had to do to freak me out, dude? Like,
Right.
Stop that. But there were a few that were actually inventive, and I wanted to see more of those. Like there's this one drop near the beginning that you're not expecting. That's like a trap door, and it feels like that Tower of Terror moment where like your pit of your stomach goes up, and you're like, oh shit, and like that was what got me. Nothing about the slamming doors and anything like that. So I would like to have seen more inventive stuff more consistently when I was playing, but I did like parts of what I had played. So I can't say don't buy it or rush out and purchase it. I would say, like, if you're into horror and this is your sort of up your alley thing, you might enjoy it. But AJ, I want to hear like what your final thoughts were. Like, I want to know what your final.
So disclaimer, yes, disclaimer. Whenever I live stream something, no matter it's on my channel, in the Discord, wherever, that is not a review. Because anything can happen. Well, I'm letting everyone out there know that yes, I'm feeling a certain way about a game when I'm playing it, but my view always changes after I've had time to think about it, settle on it, and finish it. Of course, is a huge one. So when this game gets started, I got a couple positives, which was that I actually was happy to see that, like, when you're setting up the game, just the settings that they offer you, the move controls, the different options they have, everything from just a regular porting it over and integrating the move support. I thought it was great. I really liked how even they're like, this is an epileptic warning, that there's like this visual experience mode that you can check and enable, and it's like the visuals will be more intense.
When they say intense, they mean it goes all warbly, and it makes you feel a little woozy. Actually, I got a little sweaty when it happened one or two of those times, because it does fuck with your vision, and like if you don't have strong legs, you might want to turn that off because it is really funky.
So, look. And guys, I just want to remind everybody that this is just my opinion, my experience. This doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. Everybody has their own experience and stuff. But quite frankly, I really dislike this game. This is the kind of game where it was, I had mentioned like Rise of Insanity and stuff. And I had mentioned like these just really cheap feeling games. And that's where it all began for me. Was the controls were great, but the way this game feels like there was so much hype coming up to this. Like even my neighbor that I spoke to the other day was like, "Oh, I've heard of Layers of Fear. It's so awesome." My problem is this is a port that it feels like everything was stripped down, and then they got it running once it got stripped down, and then it was shipped. And as a result, there's no lighting. Which absolutely drove me crazy. Like, lighting is something so important to me, and I can understand it to some degree. But when there's no lighting at all and everything is so downgraded, it's not blurry. Actually, it is pretty blurry in parts. But that wasn't what bothered me. What bothered me was I lost the immersion. There was no immersion for me, and pretty much at all. I found it so unimmersive, and it was a lot to do with the lighting, the atmosphere, the graphics, and stuff like that, and even the sound design. And to me, it was just a horrible start from the get-go visually.
I think, I don't know, as far as the atmosphere, I think I agree with you in terms of, like, it's not that the graphics are, like, bad or blurry or anything. I mean, they're bad by today's standards, but not like we can look over that stuff. But the atmosphere of the rooms you're in, it's like, is it supposed to be creepy just because I know something's going to pop out at me? Or is it supposed to be creepy like walking through Resident Evil, where the hallways are like decrepit and there's like goop coming off the shit. And you're like, this is scary looking. What is this about? I mean, they try a little bit with they mess up the walls and you can kind of see through the floorboards in certain areas and stuff. But I just didn't ever feel like it was that spooky of a place to be.
Yeah. This game... Similar to what Brian said about Wraith, at least in the first half, this is what I experienced with that, was that this game was not scary one bit to me. And I think that immediately breaks it. And because, again, I have to be sold. I have to feel like I'm actually there, be immersed in the world. And there was just so many disconnects that it's like, it's just if a game has one job and that is to scare you and it's not scary to you, it's just broken.
The way I felt about this was more like a haunted house than a horror game.
Yeah.
Because it was more, the scares were more along the lines of like, okay, what are you going to do to me next? Like, okay, you got a piano right here. What's the piano do? The piano's going to snap shut. Okay, I got you. Like, just anticipating, like, how are they going to jump scare me as if I was in a haunted house. And half the time, if it doesn't land, I'm like, I see what you tried to do there, but like, it didn't work. Sorry, bud. And I'll just keep moving. And that's how I feel about haunted houses in real life. Most of it isn't scary. And I'm like, you thought jumping out there would scare me with a chainsaw, but it didn't do anything. I'll see you later. And that's how I felt for most of the game. Not like, oh, there's this impending sense of dread. Like anything could happen around any corner that might actually throw me for a loop and be like really scary in a certain way. Like, there's no psychological sense of horror to it. It's just like, when's the next jump scare?
Right.
Interesting.
And Brian, I want to hear you. I want to
Yeah.
throw it back over to you, Brian. But I just want to say one more thing about the jump scares. I've been the guy always saying, like, I love jump scares. That's how things get me, and I don't understand why jump scares get so much hate. And this game kind of explain to me why people don't like them.
It makes
because
them
the
boring.
game when you're expecting nothing but jump scares with no build up, nothing to distract you, it's just walking forward. It is like a walking sim, like you said. And you're just walking forward room after room and just waiting for a thing. And like, I'm expecting it. It kills the jump scare because I'm constantly expecting the next one. And then it just goes blah. And I'm just like, okay. And it just ruined it for me, man.
This is how I feel about Five Nights at Freddy's. So hopefully you can understand my position now a little bit. So Brian, we haven't heard much from you yet. And I know you're the resident one who liked it the most. So any counterpoints, anything you want to say about what we said already, or?
Yeah.
I want to shout out to Looper the Game Cat with the 10 euros.
Okay.
I want to make sure we get caught up on these tips real quick.
Yeah.
Finally checked out Hitman 3 Greed DLC. I like the sound design with distorted NPC voices, ambient noises, and Frog's voice in your head saying, you must eliminate them.
Ooh, I haven't tried that.
I haven't tried that either.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Looper. We appreciate you. And Arlen Theodore saying, David, please play the guitar. With
I told him
$5
it's not
tip.
allowed.
I also told him it's not allowed.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Arlen. Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely a haunted house. That's sort of like what I kind of came down to at the end of my review, saying, I've played Don't Knock Twice, and I've played Paranormal Activity, I've played all these horror games on PlayStation VR, but this is a haunted house. Like, this is. It's dragging you through like room by room by room by room, and it's impossible to get lost or like, oh, I wonder where to go next. Like, there's very few times where you're like, I'm not sure what to do. This is like usually very clear puzzles that you're like, okay, here's my puzzle, and when I solve it, the game continues dragging me through the rest of it. Almost like there's a guide being like, okay, there's a door there. If that door is locked, well, then go through the other door. And you will continue through. You're never going to get lost in this game. It is basically one way through the house. And I liked that because it felt like I was doing, since I was always moving forward and things were always changing, it felt like I was seeing more and doing more than I was in other games that are, this 4-hour length, because you're constantly moving.
It does move you through it. I agree. That's a good strength of the game. Absolutely. Like, I appreciated that I wasn't running in circles and stuff. Yeah.
They do kind of stop you with stuff, though. They make you have to do something. And there were several times where I overestimated the game, where I'm like, okay, here's a puzzle I have to solve. And then it was like, no. It was like the object that the thing it wanted me to do was to just keep moving forward.
Just open the door. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like a haunted house, but it still relies on some gameplay elements. And this was one of the first big problems that I ran into, was that I had turned off the icons because I know how a door handle works or something. I know that if I go to open it and it doesn't open, that it's locked, or I got to find a key or something like that. I don't need an icon telling me that, hey, this is a door handle that you can touch. But then there was like a crate that was in the thing, and I had immersive mode on, which was all the icons off. And this crate I actually fiddled with. I tried to slide it over. I tried to grab it, and I got stuck in one part. But this was the part that some of you guys saw in the Discord. I got stuck in one part because it wanted me to grab specifically the middle of the crate and pull it back. And so I basically was like, well, this immersion mode where you turn off all the icons is broken.
I don't remember ever moving a crate. That's funny, man. I wonder if we end up in different sections.
Well, they do say that there is like a story-driven thing here, that it changes the outcomes and stuff. But
Yeah, but how much is that a real thing? Because I noticed at the beginning, a lot of games will do this where it's like, this is a game where your decisions affect every outcome. And it's like, I don't remember making a decision.
Yeah.
When did I make a decision ever in the game that I played for over an hour and I didn't make a single decision other than just opening doors?
See,
Right? So I don't see how it branches. How would it branch? Maybe I missed something later, but
yeah, I kind of disagree with. I mean, I was sort of holding off, but I kind of disagree with a lot of what you guys are saying. I don't think that the jump scares are undeserved. I think that the tension builds up very, very strongly in this game. There's so many things to read, and if you're actually sitting there and like reading everything. Sorry, what?
There's too many things to read.
I don't agree with that. I think if you obviously unless you start like reading the same things that you've already read, the game does like give you the same pieces of paper over and over. But like they don't want you to miss it. They want to make sure you have an opportunity to find these things. And I love the story, and I was getting into the story, and here I am like playing a game, exploring this house, wondering who am I? Am I the main character, the husband figure that like seems to be the voice in my head and whatever. Am I him? Like what I'm finding letters from doctors, and I'm trying to figure out like who's got the problems. I'm trying to figure out what the problems are, and like what kind of contributed to the demise of this relationship, this marriage. And so I'm reading through all that, and I'm getting into the minutia and being like and starting to feel like I understand this relationship. And then all of this physical stuff manifests in the form of scares. Like there's weird things happening around you, and it's not just random shit. It relates to the story, and when you're walking through things, like messages will pop up on the walls and creepy things that like that don't. This is environmental storytelling. This is the shit that I wished Mask Maker was doing, because you just walk through and you see like wine bottles everywhere, and you see like things written on the walls, and you see like just evidence of like this marriage ending in catastrophe. You see all this shit all around you, and even though there's some voiceovers and there's a lot to read, it all works together to create this big like fulfilling narrative. And so when the jump scares happen, like I'm on the edge of my seat, because it's doing the thing, and I talked about this a lot in my review, it's doing this thing that real life haunted houses can't do. And that's, I walk into a room, I open a door, and I'm like, shit, I gotta go the other way. I turn around, and the room that I'm in is completely different from, I literally just turned around, and it's different. Like, and that happens, they ramp that up so much over the last half of the game.
Like an entire game of
it. It's an entire game of it, but they do it so fucking well that like I didn't even get sick of it. I was like, holy shit! Every time I look at something, it's different, and I'm like, and for me, that works, and when you pull that shit off successfully, for me, I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm looking for in a horror game. I just wish that it looked like Paranormal Activity or Don't Knock Twice, or even, God forbid, The Exorcist Legion VR. Like, I just wished it had like this polish in it with better lighting effects, and like just so I could feel more immersed, because I thought the scares in what the game was doing outside of the way it looked was actually really well done.
So I feel like the experience that you're talking about is what I got playing Transference, and is not at all what I got here. Transference does that all the time, where it fucks with your idea of where you just were, changes the landscape, and it does that way better than Layers of Fear does, by like a mile. I also think that story, the uncovering story of what did this guy do, like how is he so fucked up, what was his damage, is way more intriguing and told in a much more piecemeal way that keeps you interested in Transference. In this one, I felt like they were beating me over the head with the fact that he was a freak who likes to paint on people's skin. Like, I get it. Everything in the house kept telling me, this guy's a real freak. And then all the voiceovers were like, I'm a fucking maniac. Like, voiceovers, by the way, are not good. They're too loud. I read almost every note I came across, and I got tired of it because I was like, I get it already. Yeah. I get it.
I tried to read everything. I was trying to get into the story, trying to get into the characters, and I stopped because I just couldn't get into it, and I didn't find it interesting, and it was just kind of like, just felt like a waste of time at some point. I don't know. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, I could totally see that. If you're not enjoying the game and you're not feeling the scares, then yeah, what a fucking waste. Like what an absolute waste. But like for me, we just have radically different experiences. Like I was like, man, the graphics suck, and I was like, oh, what a bad way to start. You know, I was walking around going, this is, ugh.
So let me make something very clear though, because you keep mentioning that when we disagree, you keep mentioning graphics. My problems with this game are way beyond just the graphics. It's the gameplay, it's the sound design, like it's a lot of stuff. And just all of it. Just
You mentioned sound design twice now. What was it about the sound design? Because other than just not enjoying the voiceovers, I didn't have a problem with it.
They were mixed very poorly. They're super blown out and they sound terrible in the audio mix. That's one thing. I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
A lot of the special effects, yeah, like I mean the voiceovers honestly didn't, like the voice acting didn't bother me. It was the quality of it was really bad. It sounded like it was like recorded in somebody's garage. And then like the special effects, the sound effects that were used I didn't find were very good. Like I was just kind of joking around saying like they sounded like just really basic, cheap special effects. And yeah, like all of that stuff that is supposed to add to like the atmosphere. There was literally just the atmosphere was just sucked out of this game. Stuff like Affected the Manor feels more like a haunted house because first of all, you don't need like any icons and stuff popping up. You just walk through it and you just go the way. The lighting, there's like areas that are super dark, areas that are super light, and there's like this build of tension to me in Affected the Manor and level of polish that this didn't have. And yeah, like this is just it's very much just the mechanic, like you said, how you really like how it would throw you into a new room, like you'd go through a new door and it'd be like something new. To me, it was okay. Like I liked it at first, but when it became the entire game, it ended up just causing me to kind of just walk forward, walk back, walk forward, walk back, walk forward, walk back, and like cheese through the whole game, and just really, I don't know. I mean, I get, but I didn't feel like staying there. Now, I do have some positives to say though, is that the last hour and a half of the game, there was like some parts where there was like some lighting and stuff that actually came through, and some cool the special effects that they use, where it was like it like looks like a fish lens with like some like rainbow effect or something. Like I thought that was awful for the most part, but they actually really made it more intense towards the later in the game. And the positive that I have to say here is, despite really disliking most of the game, the last hour and a half was like, oh, that was like, this was a little bit more like, I felt like I could get into it just a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it was the whole game did that to me. And I'm getting back to what I was saying when I started off, and the graphics were like just so barren and so like geometric and plain, and like the lighting is fucking terrible. And like Dave mentioned that there is like these lighting things that happen, like but it looks like they used like 4 polygons.
X-Files flashlight, I call it.
Yeah. It's bad, man. It's bad. And so like that pulled me out of it, and I was surprised by the fact that like eventually I got pulled in, and I really I got into the story and I got into the atmosphere, and I would absolutely love this game if it just looked a lot better. Like it needs to look a lot better.
Well, but I mean, to bring it up to today's standards, there's other stuff that we need to. We said this about Wraith, but it's even more applicable here. A lot of stuff just isn't interactable, or is interactable in a way where you can't actually do anything with it. You just pick it up and then it floats back to where it came from for no reason. And so, like, I don't know, you start figuring out what can I interact with, what can't I, and then a lot of it's just notes, or a cabinet with a note in it, or a door. Yeah. That's like all the interaction for the most part is a cabinet, a note, a door.
Yeah,
that's pretty much
most of the cabinets and stuff, the dressers and stuff you open, and it's the same 2 shirts that are there every single time.
Every cabinet in this guy's house is full of just like messy like
tons
painters
of books.
So here's the thing about Wraith though. Wraith, this game actually made me appreciate Wraith a lot more, because Wraith actually has, like, I actually was like into the mansion, into the story, into the setting, the atmosphere and stuff. Despite even some shortcomings playing it on the Quest 2, but there's gameplay. There's like stealth that you have to do at least in Wraith, and there's some stuff I wasn't crazy about how everything was executed, but I was really happy that Wraith actually had some form of gameplay, which was like some riddles to figure out, or some stuff to figure out, or strategies to get, or just the stealth sections, people to avoid. And this is literally, you can just walk through the whole thing and
see. Wraith to me feels like you're doing the exact same shit. You're walking from one place to another place. Oh, but then you got to walk back, and then you got to but that place you were just at, you have to walk back, and then guess what? You're walking back. You retread the same area in Wraith so much, where and like nothing happens, and you don't even start getting chased until later in the game. It's like, and then even that, like the chase stuff didn't even work all that well. So like, I mean, I actually really, really, really enjoyed the change of like, I'm constantly moving forward, and I'm just not retracing my steps and figuring out where the fuck do I go next in Layers of Fear. It's like, hey, you're just going forward. This to me is a good haunted house game. And yes, I mean, you know, I will totally get on board with, yeah, maybe the gameplay is not amazing. You know, maybe there's not a ton of things to interact with. You can open up every drawer and open up every cabinet, but like, is there a reason to? Not usually. Sometimes you'll find an item. There are collectibles in this game. There are like hidden, you know, drawings and stuff like that appear in your studio, and so you know that all helps. And so, but yeah, I mean, again, it to me, it's way more on par with Affected the Manor than anything else. And as far as a haunted house game, I had a lot of fun with it.
When I play PlayStation games, I think like 4 years ago or something, it would have been like, oh, this is the first time I'm experiencing something like this. This would be great. But I play PlayStation games, and I expect a certain level of quality when I play them. I don't. This to me feels very much like a straight port of the mobile game, and I don't play. When I play PlayStation, I'm expecting to have some good lighting, some good gameplay, some stuff like that, and this really didn't have any of that. This feels like the beginning, like mobile VR stuff that like really didn't interest me at all at first.
A lot of it, people in chat are talking about this, and I brought it up as well, but like the stuff in every environment feels very just copy paste, just like there's not a sense of atmosphere because everything you open has the same shit behind it. A bunch of unmarked books with no names on them, maybe a bust, or maybe some painter's materials or something. But like when you go, this took me out of it actually. And this is something that just seems like a silly, obvious thing to not do. But if you're walking through this guy's supposedly spooky basement, there's giant jars of oregano everywhere. And after a while, it's like, why did they just put like 90 giant jars of oregano in this guy's place? In a game like Wraith, I'm not noticing things about the environment that take me out of it in terms of like, this is silly and it's just like window dressing. It's like, it feels like an environment with atmosphere. Even if there's less stuff in it, it feels like a tailored environment with an atmosphere instead of just like, hey, what are we going to put in this other bookshelf? Oh, the same thing of books as in every other goddamn bookshelf in the whole game. Like, it just gets tedious and you see the rough edges there. I don't know.
All right, guys, real quick here. Looper the Game Cat with the €5 said, how do you feel about a tracked Guitar Hero controller that would turn into various guitar models in VR? Without derailing this conversation, that sounds pretty fucking awesome. Definitely on board with that. Your Long Shadows with the 50 Nokias said, nobody else asking a hard question, so I guess I have to step up. Brian, will you be retracting a point for the non-stop ringing phone? I will tell you that was that part with the phone. You guys saw it in the live stream. It was driving me mad. Like it was I think doing its job very well. Donatello, the Scientist Game Cat, with the $5 tip says, I find it interesting that three of you interpreted the story differently. Did any of you like the story? I love the story.
No.
I think to me it's trite and cheesy and ham-fisted. Those are the three words I would use.
It was like, to me, I used to be the guy that my friends would always say, like, oh, you like every horror movie. And I was like, no, I watch every horror movie, but that doesn't mean I like every horror movie. And this, to me, at least this port and this version, seemed like a really bad, cheesy horror movie that just, like, wasn't good.
Interesting.
To me.
Interesting. Yeah, the things I do agree with Dave on the transference stuff. Just getting back to that, I meant to get back to that before we moved on. It was transference, I think, did a lot of things really, really well, and those environments were stunning. Like, that was a great looking game, and they were able to do some like very cool psychological effects. That definitely rival, like not even rival. They're just so much better than what Layers of Fear is doing. But Layers of Fear is still doing things that transference couldn't. In terms of like turning your head and then turning your head back and like shit's different. Like transference is very much like an open the door and then close the door, and then when you open the door it's different kind of experience.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't want to give them an excuse for the graphics being bad by any stretch of the imagination, because I think we've seen what can be done on PlayStation VR, and it can be so much better than this no matter what they're doing behind the scenes. But man, some of the shit they pull off later in the game is just fucking incredible, and I kept wondering how the hell did they do that. And I just really enjoyed it. I think the later parts of this game just got better and better.
Well, I give you my honest opinion, and that's all I can do. And I knew playing this, I was like, Brian's gonna love this. Brian, like, I know why you like this game, and that's totally cool. Because I was like, oh. Yeah. Well, I was like, oh, I thought about you when they did that, because no other game has done that a whole bunch. A little bit in sharing the room and stuff, a little bit in transference and stuff. But I really come to expect when it comes to PlayStation VR games, a little bit higher level of quality, of polish, and gameplay. And I will say, I don't know if are we still planning on run through the sale or not? But Here They Lie is $7.99 right now. And Here They Lie is a little on the blurry side, especially at first. But that, to me, is like you can buy Here They Lie and Affected the Manor for less than this, and I feel like they're both better.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Get those games first. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, somebody, I can't remember who it was in the chat, was saying that they were going to pick up Transference before playing Layers of Fear, but they were going to get both. I'd say do it the other way. Play Layers of Fear first, so your standards are lower, and then play Transference, and then have a good time with it.
This game is on the level, unfortunately, to me, of like Rise of Insanity and those other kind of cheap mobile games. I think it's better than I think it's better than those, but I think it tried more. But I think they stripped out way too much, and it just wasn't ready. And I feel like we've had so many more better experiences and games to get something this late in the life cycle. I feel like this is like a going the opposite way, in which way I want to see VR going. And I can't give this game anything higher than a 6 personally.
Oh, so we're not. I'm glad we're not far off. Then we're a point off, which is fucking nothing. What I'm concerned about here is that, okay, so two things. One, I'm concerned about their Blair Witch port, right? Because now we know that like we're getting no frills shit from Incuvo.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. The other thing is that we don't know what the devs are up to. Like we got to judge the game how it is at launch. That's how I judged it. But I think it's very important to question: is there a possibility? Because two people already in the review had asked me, should I get this version or the Quest version? And I'm like, well, the Quest version, if you have a Quest 1, that is the version that you're getting, right? But at least with this, I got my fingers crossed, and I'll be talking to the developers. Please, 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 for the love of God, bring us a Pro/PlayStation 5 patch for this game. Upgrade the
assets are not exciting to look at, regardless of the resolution of them.
I don't think it matters. Have you play the Quest or the PSVR version? Is there even a difference?
No, but that
said it looks like a straight port.
Yeah, there's not a difference, but that's what I'm saying is that like there's potential for like if these guys are interested in like giving us a Pro patch or a PlayStation 5 patch, like dude, have you seen the original Layers of Fear? Non-VR?
Yeah, I've seen I looked at some gameplay and it looks so much better.
The assets from the original version it's a great looking game in my book. It's a great looking game. And there's no reason why we can't have that on PlayStation VR, right? And so it's like, like we need to they need to go in and do some asset swaps. Like get rid of these Quest textures and Quest environments and shit, and bring in the shit from like the actual flat screen game. There's no reason we can absolutely run this, even if the resolution has to take a hit. It will look much better. And in my book, like, I didn't have a problem with the sound design. I turned the effects down from the get-go. I don't know why that was, and made sure the music was up all the way. And that's how I played both times around. And so maybe that's the difference. But like, if the graphics were way better, I would enjoy this game way more. Like, this could easily be like a 9 for me. Like, if it was, if the graphics were like, Paranormal Activity style.
I think that's a little bit of a pipe dream. That's kind of pie in the sky.
Oh, I know.
I know, because like
I don't think I care enough to even want a patch. Like I don't.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm aware, but I coming from the guy who does care, this is what I want. And so, you guys didn't enjoy your time with it, and I totally respect that. I really enjoyed this,
like nearly as much as AJ did. I mean, I had fun. I mean, watch the stream. I wasn't talking shit the whole time. Like, I had a decent time with it.
I played it by myself. I played it on stream. And yeah, actually, I think, like I said, the highest I would give it is a 6. But really, what I feel is like more 5 territory or lower.
Okay, well, I can't wait to see the review on PSVR Underground. I'm looking forward to that quite a bit, man.
Wow.
Can't wait to see your in-depth analysis of this game. I'm very excited.
Look, this is the
so
thing, man.
passive
At the end of the
aggressive.
day, there's so many. Hey, I know. I'm striking a nerve with them here. It's all right, but
it's totally fine.
Yeah, it's nothing. I don't feel anything personal. Like I said, I knew
it's a game.
I'm glad you're as friendly as you are right now, because I know. Yeah, but I know how much horror games mean to you and how much you like them and stuff.
And I know how much you don't like horror games.
And
that's why, as reviewers, we come across very differently. Because I love them and you hate them. We all understand.
My problem is that
Dave, we need a mediator.
Dave, come back.
How am I supposed to mediate?
The problem is there is a huge library of amazing, or at least good, awesome horror games.
5. There's like 5 or 6.
No. There are so many other things that people don't know about right now that I would much rather be talking about or telling them to go out and try. I have to play Dreadhalls every Saturday, and as much as I hate it, it's a great game. Like, Dreadhalls is amazing. I said, Here They Lie is on sale right now. Even Don't Knock Twice. It's like broken, and I was disappointed with the ending, but I still thought it was better than Layers of Fear. Like, yeah. I don't know. Are there any other horror games in here? Paranormal Activity is $5.99.
Fantastic.
Make sure you go play all these other good ones first.
Make sure you play all these other good ones first. I 100% agree. Looper the Game Cat with the €2 said, "Is Transference playable on PlayStation 5? The demo isn't." Yeah, the demo you cannot play on PlayStation 5. You can't even transfer it over, as far as I know.
Oh wow!
But yeah, Transference not a problem at all. You can totally play that on PlayStation 5. I tested that myself.
I got worried for a second there, actually, because I was like, I might have to keep my PS4 Pro. But yeah.
Peter Cordova with the $5. Brian, this game could be a 9. AJ.
That is mind blowing. This game at best could be a 6 or 7. At best, like after you
just
fix it.
Can't wait to see that review.
So real quick, Decepticon.
I'll make one if you want one.
I do. Yeah.
Says, that Japanese red light, green light game needs to come to North America. That's true. Horror sense, that would be a super fun one to have. I don't think we'll see it at this point. It's been so long that they probably won't, but still good in the Japanese store if you want to play it.
Yeah.
You don't need to know Japanese.
Boy Brown says, I can't see how AJ gives it a 6 when he clearly doesn't like every aspect of the game. Fine, a 4. I give this game a 4. Guys.
There we go.
Is my final review. Brian wanted a review. My final review for this game, because I've played the whole thing, is a 4 out of 10. That is my review score. You're welcome.
You should chop that out of GAMESCAST and upload it to PSVR Underground.
Okay, so
4
one
seconds.
other thing, guys. Did anybody else find this funny? Brian, actually, Dave hasn't finished it yet. Brian, when you beat the game,
yeah,
and it takes you back to the main menu, it's not new game or continue. It says finish it. Did you see that?
Yeah. So do it right.
I do finish it, and then
multiple endings. You have to go through,
and then it starts. Yeah, and then it starts the game right over again.
What the fuck does it think
it's like New Game Plus.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are reasons to replay it if you didn't absolutely despise it like AJ did. There are reasons to replay it. Again, there are collectibles. There are multiple endings. Yeah, 4 out of 10. He says 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. 4 out of 10 is my review. Official review.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's not that frequent that all of us have wildly different opinions on a game like this. So I sort of cherish these moments, to be honest with you, because you're in the middle. AJ's at a 4, and I'm at a give me better graphics and it'll be a 9. Yeah, for real. This game looked like Paranormal Activity. It would be a 9 for sure.
But it doesn't.
All right, you guys. We got to end off the show with a little game of PSVR 20 questions. Dave, you are the host this week. We need all the help we can get from the chat, guys, because oh man, if it's anything like Neptune Flux on the last episode,
I will never. By the way, I will never go that deep cut again.
I liked it. I think we should go deep cut all the time.
Yeah, but no, I'm not going to lead with deep cuts. There's a huge library. We'll get to those later.
All right.
So I got it. I'm ready to go. It's up in here.
All right, Dave.
Some questions.
Dave, question. Go ahead.
Is it an action game?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Okay. Is it on sale currently?
I have to look at the sale. You're wasting time. Hold on.
No. I'm not wasting time. Is it part of the sale that is?
I need to look
in the run of show.
That is in the run of show.
Are we going over the sale?
Does it use?
No, but you have the list.
I'm looking at it right now.
Hold on.
No. I'm going to take Brian's question first.
Okay.
It is not in the sale.
Okay.
So what are we at 2? We're at 2 right now.
Okay. Does it have DualShock support?
In some way, yes.
Because it's flat screen.
It's a PSVR game.
It has DualShock support in VR.
I can't answer this without saying too much, but that's a really specific question. But it has DualShock capacity in some sense. Yes, it has DualShock support.
In VR?
Wait.
That's a separate question. You want to ask a second question for it? You want to give 2 questions?
AJ, where's your head at with this one? Where you?
I was trying to see if it's also got a flat version. If it's just
Dave, does it also have a non-VR version?
No.
Okay.
Is it a local co-op game? Does it have local co-op?
Yes, it does have local co-op.
Wow. What the?
Caught this real quick.
That's where I was going with this, man. I told you I'm good at this.
You're 5.
What's in your head right now? You said local co-op. Is this like Carly and the Reaperman? Is it a puzzle?
Yes.
No. I'm not asking Dave. I'm talking.
Game over.
I'm talking.
Game over.
I'm talking to AJ. I'm not asking Dave. I would trust me. You will know when I'm asking an official question.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a couple local co-op games, so
right.
Is it based off a movie IP?
No.
Okay, so it's not Angry Birds.
Do you play as some sort of covert spy?
No, you don't.
Okay, that takes care of covert.
Is one of the characters a skull? Of the main characters a skull?
No.
That's Carly and the Reaperman. Okay.
You're at 8 right now.
Local co-op. I'm thinking.
Is it a pirate game?
It is not a pirate game. You're at 9.
Okay. Is it a free game?
It is not a free game. You're at 10.
Okay, hold on.
I can't even think of a local free game. What were you thinking?
I was thinking of the Playroom VR was one of them I was thinking of,
Mm-hmm.
Because that's local co-op. The Table of Tales, Carly and the Reaperman, and then what was the other one?
Black Hat Cooperative is the one you're thinking of.
Are you defusing a bomb in this?
You are not defusing a bomb. What are we at? 10, 11?
So
that was 10.
I lost count. That was 10. All right.
So does the person in VR? They'd have to use move controllers. Let's see. What's the? Oh, wait, no. See, I'm checking on the chat.
The chat was all thinking about keep talking. You know, when it explodes.
I said in chat, no one has gotten the right answer yet. So don't look at chat because they are all wrong.
No, I saw Bloody Zombies, but that wouldn't make sense with what you've said. Because somebody has to use moves in. Somebody would probably have to use moves.
Are you spitballing or asking a question?
No, I'm just talking to Brian here.
Yeah.
Somebody would have to use moves most likely, and then the people on the TV would use DualShock. It's local co-op. Yeah, because he says it has DualShock in some degree.
So, are you
Okay, hold on. Is it a co-op game?
No.
Okay.
That's 11.
Interesting.
Now, people in chat are saying, oh, moves too, but you didn't actually ask me that question, so that's not confirmed or denied yet.
Is it a party game?
Can you ask a different question? Because that's hard to define. I don't know. Like, it could be. If you play a game that's got couch co-op with people in physical space, and some are on VR and some on the TV, of course, it could be a party game, right? Like,
is it on the North American store?
Yes, it is on the North American store.
Okay. So let's get back to this controller aspect. We know that you use a DualShock
In some capacity.
in some capacity. Dave's kind of saying we don't use the moves. It sounds like.
I didn't say that. No one's asked me directly if the moves are used or not, so I can't say one way or the other.
I want to make
Brian,
sure we ask this in a good way.
Brian, these are the options we have, Brian. We've got maybe the VR the Diner Duo. We've got he already mentioned Black
Through
Hat.
the store? That's cheating.
Yeah, it's totally cheating.
That's totally cheating.
Looking I can't look at games.
No.
Well, there's games I just don't
Don't
remember.
narrow it down in the store based on the things I've told you, because that's just like looking up through a list. Which one is it?
Right.
You got to think of it. You got to think. You got to know it in your brain.
Well, I don't know every game off the top of my
Turn your
head.
browser
That's
up. That's
that's
the whole
part
point
of
of the
the
damn
game.
game, AJ. Fucking Christ. Okay.
Is it a game with drinking?
No. This at 13? I think we're on 13 now.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh my god.
You got to keep what?
Oh my god. Is it a game about magic?
No, it's not a game about magic. You're at
Okay.
14.
14.
Yeah, and we can't. And you mentioned VR the Diner Duo, AJ, but that's that is co-op, and you asked if it was co-op, and it's not.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and Kyle says, "Is it that laser game AJ played in the stream?" No, because he said it's not a party game. That's a party game.
Well, I declined to answer that. I didn't count that as a question because I said it's hard to define a party game. Any game like this game could be a party. So if you want to count that as a question, you're at 15 instead of 14.
And you said, and then you called it yes. You said yes or no to it.
I said essentially yes. I guess any game like this could be a party game. Any game.
Pictionary is a party game. Whether you like, it's a social game. You can't play Picture Party VR by yourself.
Guessing Picture Party.
Dave,
VR.
Dave, is this game like Pictionary?
No, it's not like Pictionary.
Okay,
That's
that
16.
takes care of that. All right.
16. We got 4 more.
Is
this a like? Okay, good.
Is this is interesting?
Ooh, they're saying Headmaster. I like that one.
Hold on a second. We asked if this was multiplayer, we asked if it was local, but we don't know if that's a majority of the game. Is a majority of this game actually single player, and then multiplayer
depends on how you want to play it. I would say I can't
help you answer the question. Is there a single player campaign?
Yes. Well, not campaign. There is a single player mode.
Okay.
There's a single player mode and there's a multiplayer mode, and neither one is what I would call a campaign. So that's as much as I can give you there. So you're at what, 16, 17? You had 4, so yeah, you're at 17 now. You got 3 left.
How's your boy Brown?
So Headmaster is definitely out of this because that is, I would call that a single player campaign, big time.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the chat here. Concrete Genie, no, that doesn't.
Nobody in chat has said it yet. I'll tell you that.
Nobody
has come up with it.
All right. He also said that there's no flat screen version, so that eliminates.
I didn't say there's no. I mean, it's not a flat screen. Well, yeah, of course. These games that are couch co-op in VR, somebody's playing on the flat screen, of course, but it's not. There isn't a flat screen.
An exclusive flat screen version, right?
Exactly. Yeah. 3 left, boys.
Is this like a deep cut game?
Is that your question?
Like is this a deep cut? Like
it is a deep
like
cut
only
game.
Somebody that knows like every game would know this.
Absolutely a deep cut game.
Okay.
2 left.
Okay.
While we're
I'll
thinking,
throw you guys a bone on the last one, and if you can come up with it without looking at my YouTube channel, then I will let you have the hint. But you get one more before I give you the hint.
While we're thinking about it, Scott Jessico, PSN Harry Fellow, PSVR GameCap for Life with the 5 quid donation says, Future Past Scott here just to say happy Star Wars Pinball VR Day. Can't wait to get home and watch this while downloads VR gaming goodness. Let's go.
Pinball, baby. I can't wait. After this, I'm doing pinball. We can't stream it till tomorrow at 1 p.m. But
right. Don't work too hard, Scott. We love you. Thank you so much. Yeah. I saw somebody, was it Lethal Weasel saying, I know what it is?
Oh, yeah, he's not saying it, though. And
Why
I think
not?
he might actually know.
Why? You're in the chat. The chat's on our side, man. The chat's on our side.
I'm kind of convinced that I don't know what this game is.
Okay, one more, and I'll give you a
hold
hint.
on a second,
and then if you get that off the top of your head, then you got it.
I really feel like I can get this.
Don't say it, Lethal. Don't say it.
Yeah, of course, Lethal. You're on our side, man. The chat is with us.
No, the second you say it, you're going to be like, oh, of course. How could I have missed that? And so you're going to guess it immediately, and then it'll be game over. So don't say it, Lethal. The
chat's on our side. It's the chat and AJ and I against. And trust me, I'm the host of this game sometimes too.
Don't wait for him to say anything before you guess. Come on, just make a guess. You got 2 guesses left. General guesses.
I'm your friend, Lethal.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? It's going to really help. We only got 1 real question left, or 2 questions, 1 question and a guess,
2.
something like that. Okay.
I'll give you a hint after the next one. Yeah.
Is it? You said it's not action.
I wouldn't call it an action game.
It's not a free game.
It's not a free game.
I'd like to, if somehow we could guess the genre. I mean, obviously, it's like like just kind of like the tone of the game. Then I feel
wish you would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Decepticons at 2MD VR football.
It's quite a good guess. I think it matches most of the things I said.
But it's not. But I guess it does have the.
Lethal, don't.
Lethal says he paid $1 for it.
This is killing me.
He never paid $1 for a VR game.
Guess something. It's gonna take all
night.
Are we on
19 or 20?
We got 2. We basically have 1 question and a guess with 2 left. Yeah. Steve IRE is thinking about
Carly and
the Refrain. That's
that guy wrote it out on like question 5 or 6.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I'm going to go down Kramer 3K's route. Does this take place in a?
I can hear you still.
Okay. Does this take place in a bar? I'm definitely stalling the Drew for sure.
No, I already said it's a drinking game. He said no. I said is there drinking in this game?
Okay, then screw that.
I mean, is that question?
No, that wasn't. No, that doesn't count.
It's not an action game, Kyle. This is driving me insane. Come on. I can't. The problem is I can't even think of anything to guess. Is it?
Yeah, I should have guessed. Should have asked about genres.
Yeah, is it sci-fi
in nature? Questions.
Sci-fi question mark, Dave?
No, it's not sci-fi.
All
so
right.
you got 1 question left. And I'll give you a hint now. Right. And don't go look at my YouTube page. I swear to God.
YouTube page.
Because this is based on how much you guys know me. I don't want to see anybody typing or Googling, okay? And nobody in chat do it either. Hands up. And chat, you don't do it either. This is the first game I ever streamed on my channel.
Is it Pixel Gear?
Yes, it's Pixel Gear, Brian.
All right.
Finally, thank you for knowing. Did you see that in chat, or did you actually?
No, I knew it was no, because that was a thing we did. Like, wasn't that was a without parole thing at one point, right?
Well, no. I mean, the first stream I ever did was just me hitting play on Pixel Gear, and I streamed it live.
Right.
And so, thank you for knowing that.
I knew
you guys never would have guessed that shit otherwise. That's a good deep cut, right?
That is a very good deep cut. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know it had co-op, or not co-op, but I didn't know it had
asymmetric multiplayer. It's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I didn't know it had. I knew it was something I didn't know.
So if anybody actually is curious now that we've talked this much about the game, Pixel Gear is one of the first games that came out. It's a 1-move controller based game. You don't have 2, you just have 1. But it's really clean. The tracking is like really good on it. And it's just like a stay in place wave shooter kind of deal. It's cutesy, it's silly, whatever, no big deal. But the multiplayer is really fun, actually, because people on the flat screen are controlling items in the environment, like a tree or like a box or something, and they're trying to get to where you are without you catching them. And they can see your cone of vision like Metal Gear Solid, right? So when I'm looking over here, if you're a tree, you move closer. You move closer, and then I look back and I'm like, did that tree just fucking move? And you got to try and shoot the things that are actual people.
Yeah.
And it's a really fun kind of like guessing game, kind of like gotcha. And like it's fun to hide from the person who's looking in VR too. So it's actually more surprisingly enjoyable than you'd think for a really cheap game that came out like at the launch of the PSVR.
I should have gotten that when you talked about it being on sale for $1, because I remember that very few games.
I think I bought it at that same time, but I just don't remember that.
Yeah, that company sold a few for that price. Like Ace Banana, which is not good, was that price as well, like 79 cents or something. But
I played Pixel Gear, and I remember it being better than what I was expecting, but it was still like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Kramer says, is it the Minecraft-looking thing? Yeah, it's kind of voxely, but when you pop a guy's head off, it's still really satisfying, even though it's super cartoony. Like, that headshot feels good.
Yeah.
And it tracks really well. I mean, it's kind of a cool game.
That was good, man. That was really good. I feel like that's not a crazy deep cut. Like, I feel like, like most of us who've been around since the beginning should definitely know that. It was that was a good pick in my book. That's really good.
And guys, my first swing at it, so hopefully I can keep them.
You just need to keep count better, so we don't have to keep count for you. Is it 15 or is it 16? I was like, that's your job.
I was like, I've never had to put my fingers up in front of the camera like this, and I was like holding my hand like this for 9, and I was like, that's not the way. How do you put your hand in front of the camera?
Nice. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We definitely got into a little bit of a deep discussion about Layers of Fear, and that was a lot of fun. Despite the fact that none of us are friends anymore, it was a good conversation. But you guys definitely want to be hearing what you guys think of Layers of Fear. If you guys decide to pick it up, or if not, we definitely want to hear from the people who did. Please leave those comments. Give me your impressions. Just here. You can go to the review too if you want to, but leave your impressions here. I'm curious to know where you guys stand. Very, very curious. Donatello with the $5 donation says, I say one of these days have a GameCat call in and do 20 questions.
That's a good idea, actually. If we could manage it, I don't know OBS wise how hard that would be, Discord wise, whatever, but.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit complicated on my end, unfortunately.
Kramer says I actually counted wrong, and I give you guys 21.
It's nice, dude. And I think I might. Looper's getting the shaft this today. We're super late on all of his questions, all of his tips. Looper earlier with the €2 tip says, Brian, will you fight for Layers of Fear for the next top 25? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That game is crazy average, and there's so many better horror options. 5. There are 5 better horror options that all deserve to be on the top 25 list before Layers of Fear. Thank you for the tips. So sorry, I'm really bad with the tips today. I apologize. And that's it, guys. Another episode of PSVR GamesCast live in the books. Make sure you join us over on Discord, where this conversation happens 24/7. Let's go head on over there, and I'll order some pizza, man, because I'm starving.
AJ, can we get a Release the Kraken? Ooh. Distracted wants to hear it.
I can't give you a Kraken until I get a Cue the Cat, Brian.
Oh, can we switch Cue the Cat to Release the Kraken, and we can release the Kraken every time? Maybe not.
Is the cat cute?
Oh yeah.
Cat is cute. Release the Kraken. Because I want to say goodbye to Shades of Grey Matter, Hack the Game Cat, Lethal Weasel VR, What's Up West, Steve IRE, RG, Peter Cordova, Old Darth, Distracted the Game Cat, Delirium Drew VR, Jazzy J, the Tarot Mage Game Cat says, gonna finally try Here They Lie tonight. You're welcome. Have fun. Flame Hat, the Game Cat, Just Incredible VR, good to see you. Juice, the Wolf Craze is Wolfie and Crazy, the Triangulator, Johnny No Pockets, aka the Who Dat Game Cat. Gabriel 004, the licensed meow game cat, meow 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 meow. Your Long Shadows, thank you so much for all the Nokia phones. As always, Russ, Christopher, Kyle, PSVR Wargaming, Genetic Blasphemy, Nick Mulo, the Game Cat, Guy Sun fist bump to you, MRI the Gamer, Donatello, the Scientist Game Cat, thank you so much. Kramer 3K, good to see you again, Bud, Brody, the Game Cat, always. Everybody act like they're doing something. MTM, the Game Cat, good to see you again, my friend. Cosmo, hello, thank you for joining tonight. Who else we got here? Jen, Eric, good to see you as well. Woody the Bluebird, feels good to say that again. John the Father, Mookie Game Cat, says Beat Blaster. Oh, he was guessing. Mankey, everybody, Fat Boy Vernon, Blue Jew, the Underground Game Cat, Looper, the Game Cat, thank you for all the donations tonight. Diz, what up, Holmes? Thank you guys. Patrick M, I see you.
I'm pretty sure you gave a shout out to like an Italian Rastafarian. Like I'm not sure.
Boy
That was a very Italian.
Ross. I always say Ross Cristofari.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, man.
That's closer to Jamaican than Italian. I'll give him.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
It's not as bad as like a Chet Hanks thing. You guys seen Chet Hanks? Oh my god. Ugh.
I'm in the dark on that one.
Because every little thing is gonna be all right.
Chet Hanks will always post like Instagram things like, "Wagwan, my boys, we gonna talk about," he's like doing the patois thing, but it's like Tom Hanks' son. And everyone's like, "Dude, what's going on here?" Like,
I'm